There's no black box. There's no mystery about his intentions or what type of leader he is. He's doing the same things they all do. Again, blame an enemy. Give yourself emergency powers. Consolidate power. Enrich yourself. Never give up power. And join the club with other strongmen if you can. They all do the exact same thing. And Trump has always told us that these are the things that he would do. There is no mystery about what he wants or how he is trying to get it. Where there is mystery and where there is drama and where the history of this moment will be told is in two things. The two open questions we've got are, how are we going to respond as a country, right? We know what he's doing and how he's trying to do it. How are we going to respond as a country, meaning how far are we going to let him go? That story still being written today, every day in your personal life. But number two, how skilled is he going to be at trying to pull this all off? How skilled is he going to be or not? And again, just in today's headlines, there's plenty of news on that front as well. Because whatever you think of his intentions, his skill level is low. I mean, to the extent that what he's trying to do depends on him using his control over the government to do the things he wants to do, right?
America's would-be strongman keeps tripping over his own shoelaces. Trump talks like Putin with a thesaurus and governs like a guy who lost the manual. He threatens to invade Chicago, then forgets where he put the tanks. He tries to kneecap the Fed and accidentally spotlights that his own appointees did the same thing he's accusing a Fed governor of doing. He greenlights an ICE raid that shackles South Korean engineers at a US factory, then posts a please come back note to foreign experts like a jilted prom date. It's strongman cosplay with slapstick execution. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe and turn on alerts so this kind of receipts-driven roast hits your feed first. And drop your first thought in the comments. What's the single most authoritarian theater amateur hour moment you've seen this week? There's no mystery about Trump's intentions. Blame an enemy, claim emergency powers, consolidate the state, enrich the inner circle, never surrender power, and join the Strongmen Alumni Network. The open question is competence. Spoiler, the bumper sticker says law and order, but the engine is held together with duct tape. Take his latest federal muscle threat against Chicago. Trump menaced the city with a military deployment, branding it a Department of War moment, then ran into a wall of pushback from the mayor, the governor, and, crucially, regular people. Mass, peaceful rallies and civic pressure work. When cities said, no troops in our streets, the White House suddenly discovered other hobbies. That's not iron-fisted power. That's a bluff that collapsed under local resistance. Quick poll. If your city got that threat, would you march, call, or organize? Tell me below how you'd push back, and I'll read the best strategies on the next show.
The operations of his government, and to a certain extent his political operation, continue every day to be kind of a clown show. I mean, for a would-be strongman, for a man who wants to seem like a Putin type, right? Like one of these strongmen that he so admires all over the world. For a would-be strongman, there really is profound weakness here. Take the Lisa Cook debacle as an example. Trump has asserted that he needs unprecedented control over every lever of the U.S. economy, even levers over the U.S. economy that were explicitly designed from jump to be independent of any president's influence. He wants not only control over raising revenues through taxes, which is something only Congress is supposed to do. He wants control over what the government spends, which is something that Congress is supposed to be able to do. He wants control over the central bank, which is something that is explicitly designed to not be controlled by the U.S. president. Now, should Trump have expanded control over more elements of the U.S. economy? Should he have unprecedented control over levers of the U.S. economy? Well, how has he done with the stuff that he does control already? I don't know. Under him, we've had job growth suddenly slow to a 16-year low, excluding the pandemic, which happened in his first term. Under him, long-term unemployment is now, per the Washington Post today, quote, at a post-pandemic high and a level typically only seen during periods of economic turmoil. Thanks to Trump's second-term policies, health insurance premiums are about to spike to their biggest jump in at least 5 years. There are 24 million Americans on Affordable Care Act plans, and above and beyond the spike in healthcare premiums that everybody's about to see, if you're on the Affordable Care Act, this next year your health insurance costs are expected to rise by more than 75%. That's affecting 24 million Americans. Healthcare costs up more than 75% in a year. That's because of Trump's policies. How's he doing in your personal economy? Donald Trump has done such a hit job on the economy that he is now putting his name on the signs at a bunch of infrastructure projects that were passed and funded by Joe Biden. In Biden's legislation that Trump was fanatically and vocally opposed to. Inflation is up, the labor market is down, health prices are about to go through the roof, and so Trump is taking credit, literally putting his name on Joe Biden's economic projects in the hopes that maybe he'll at least get credit for that stuff, because that stuff seems like it's working. So yeah, a guy with that record, should this man get even more control over the U.S. economy? Should he also take the reins of the Federal Reserve Bank that is legally independent from him?
If you're hunting for the moment U.S. economic credibility face planted, start in Georgia. ICE agents swarmed a Hyundai-linked battery plant, shackled hundreds of visiting South Korean specialists, and splashed the footage in a self-styled hype reel. South Korea watched in shock. Headlines in Seoul lit up like a pinball machine. This wasn't just cruel optics, it was supply chain sabotage against our own industrial policy. Cue the panicked walk back. Within days, Trump posted a Truth Social essay begging foreign manufacturers to bring their experts to the US, because without them, massive investments will never come in the first place. Translation: we need you to build the factories we just made a perp walk out of. Multiple outlets captured the beg post almost verbatim. And Seoul noticed. South Korea's president flew in wary of a Zelensky moment, his phrase, because Trump had already fired off a threatening social post about Korea's domestic politics before the meeting even began. At the CSIS forum, he all but trolled Trump to his face, looking forward to that mythical Trump Tower in Pyongyang and a tea time with Kim, because nothing proves deal-making prowess like being clowned by an ally on camera. Worse, Trump mused publicly that the U.S. should own the land under our bases in South Korea, an idea fact-checked as unserious within minutes because, shocker, we lease host nation land by agreement. We don't annex it like a monopoly board. South Korean media treated it as a sovereignty red flag, and U.S. analysts called it exactly what it is: inflammatory and impractical. You cannot court global investment with shackles and swagger. That's not industrial strategy. That's scaring the talent and then asking them to train your team for free. Next, the attempted hostile takeover of the Federal Reserve by smear. The DOJ opened a criminal probe into Fed Governor Lisa Cook for alleged mortgage fraud, right as Trump world floated seizing more control over the Fed. Two problems. Prosecutors rarely file criminal charges in the type of mortgage dispute she's accused of, and Politico, Reuters, and ProPublica quickly documented that others in Trump's orbit, and even cabinet families, have used similar arrangements without consequence. If your gotcha applies to your own team, it's not a gotcha. It's a confession the rule is arbitrary. The move revealed the strategy: bully an independent central bank by criminalizing a governor, but also the weakness: the case didn't withstand one news cycle of scrutiny. If you want unprecedented control over the world's largest economy, try bringing evidence that isn't boomeranging in the press. Strongman PR lives on slogans. Reality runs on data. Hiring has stalled. The August report showed just 22,000 jobs added, with unemployment up to 4.3% and prior months revised sharply lower. That's a cooling labor market, not rocket ship growth.
I think that's a reasonable question. But the way he's tried to get that control, the way he's tried to get control of the Federal Reserve is by making wild accusations against Lisa Cook, against a woman who is on the board of governors of the Fed, who Trump has decided he's going to try to remove her from her post and thereby grasp the reins of the Fed and control it himself. And how has he gone after Lisa Cook? He has accused her of mortgage fraud. And then he had his DOJ open a criminal investigation into her for this supposed terrible mortgage fraud. And as bizarre as this attack is, I mean, you know what? The details of it aren't working out for him. We first had reporting from ProPublica and Reuters that the thing for which Lisa Cook is being accused is not something for which people really ever criminally get charged. Then we had further reporting from ProPublica that the thing for which she is accused is something that has also been done, apparently, by at least 3 members of Trump's cabinet, as have family members of the Trump administration's federal mortgage guy who made this accusation against Lisa Cook in the first place. Now, this weekend and today, we have reporting that Lisa Cook does not appear to have done anything wrong with her mortgage at all. This was their big swing, to take control of the Fed and make it subject to his whims and his peculiar form of economic genius that right now is bankrupting your favorite North Dakota soybean farmer. I mean, this was their big swing to give Trump huge new power over the biggest economy on the planet. And they apparently never Googled to see if the accusation would stand up to even one day of scrutiny. They never checked to see if the accusation would be blatantly, obviously, publicly, provably untrue. Their intentions are exactly what you think they are. Their capabilities, though, are not so much. I mean, you may have also noticed today that Donald Trump has not initiated a U.S. military invasion of Chicago. I mean, Trump literally threatened to wage war against the city of Chicago. He threatened a military apocalypse in the city of Chicago. Chicago's about to find out why it's called the Department of War. That is not somebody posting about Trump. That's Trump posting. After making that threat, the mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois pushed back super hard, as did the people of Chicago, who said, no troops in our streets. And hey, wouldn't you know it, now Trump has lost interest, apparently, in mounting a military invasion of the city of Chicago. He's apparently not sending the troops there after all. And hey, if you are watching me right now and you are one of the people, one of the tens of thousands of people who went to those big peaceful protests and rallies and demonstrations against Trump's promised invasion of Chicago, congratulations, you did it. You stopped him. It worked. He did not send troops. He does not like being resisted. And when people resist him, more often than not, he stops what he's doing. You know who else has stopped him? Grand juries. The least romantic, least heralded part of our whole criminal justice system. Regular citizens. Every day we're getting more and more news about grand juries, regular citizens, who are doing something previously unheard of in the criminal justice system. They are refusing to hand down indictments against people the Trump administration is trying to charge in the cities that they have invaded. In Los Angeles first, and now every day in Washington, D.C., grand juries are saying no, they will not sign off on felony charges being brought against people who Trump's feckless and incoherent prosecutors are trying and failing to prosecute.
Long-term unemployment, people out of work 6+ months, is at a post-pandemic high, the kind of level usually seen during economic stress. That's not a vibe problem, that's a paycheck problem. The ACA cliff is back on the horizon. Analysts warn that premiums could jump steeply next year if enhanced subsidies lapse. Some experts modeled increases approaching 20% on average. And 24 million people now rely on marketplace coverage, meaning policy whiplash hits a lot of families very fast. Meanwhile, the administration slaps Trump's name on Biden-era infrastructure projects he opposed, hoping ribbon cuttings can moonwalk past bad macro. That's not stewardship. That's photocopying someone else's homework and misspelling your own name in Sharpie. If premiums jumped 15-20% in your state, what's the first thing you'd cut from your budget? Tell me in the comments. Real stories beat talking points. Authoritarians like to stage manage inevitability. Our system still rewards organized pushback. Case in point, grand juries, the quietest, squarest part of the justice system, have repeatedly declined to rubber stamp aggressive protest-related cases in Los Angeles and Washington, D.C. in plain English. Everyday citizens looked at politicized charges and said, nope. That's civic muscle memory doing work. It's the same physics that blunted the Chicago theater. Threaten a city with troops and you'll get headlines. Meet a wall of public pressure, legal resistance, and local leaders who know their constitution, and you'll get a backpedal dressed up as reprioritization. Let's stack the week. Threaten Chicago. Crowd mobilizes. No troops. Shackle allied engineers. Global backlash. We welcome your experts. Float Fed takeover via smear. Press receipts. Case wobbles. Brag about jobs. BLS data and revisions. Hiring stalls. Long-term joblessness up. Talk tough to Seoul. Allies troll back. Sovereignty gaffe fact-checked in hours. This is the rhythm: maximalist threat, minimal preparation, measurable blowback, visible retreat. It's not 3D chess, it's three-step chaos: announce, antagonize, apologize, or pretend it never happened.
And speaking of incoherent, Trump has now had to post a bowing and scraping apology for, having his immigration agents arrest and shackle and deport hundreds of South Korean workers who were apparently legally in the United States constructing a battery plant in the state of Georgia. Oops. Didn't mean to horrify and shock and insult one of our most important geopolitical and economic allies, getting their whole country up in arms against us, because we have built an abuse machine in the name of immigration enforcement that is a machine we can't control, and it just goes after anyone who looks foreign. And oops, did we do that? We didn't understand who they were or why they were here. We just arrested and chained them all. Oops, were we not supposed to do that? So now Trump has had to post this. He just posted this online. When foreign companies who are building extremely complex products, machines, and various other, quote, things come into the United States with massive investments, I want them to bring their people of expertise. I don't want to frighten off or disincentivize investment into America by outside countries or companies. We welcome them. We welcome their employees. Oops. Yeah, that's not what you've been doing. This is what you've been doing. This is not a welcome. Did you not know they were going to arrest all these people? Did the people doing the arresting know why they were arresting these people or who these people were? Was this part of a plan? You're not even a year into this term in office, and you already have no idea what your own government is doing. And you apparently can't stop it even when you do. Strong men want to seem strong. They say things all the time that are meant to create the impression that they're very powerful, very strong, they can do whatever they want. That does not mean that they are strong. In our case, with our would-be strongman, this guy has put together the only federal prosecutor's team in the history of the United States legal system who actually can't get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich. In our case, with our would-be strongman, this guy has decided to mount an overthrow of the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States of America with the legal equivalent of scribbling something mean about the Fed on a bathroom wall and hoping the rumor mill will take care of the rest. In our case, the case of our would-be strongman, this guy, accidentally arrested 300 South Koreans without any idea of why, and now has no idea how to fix it, now that South Korea obviously is mad. I mean, in our case, with our would-be strongman, you better watch out or you're going to get a U.S. military invasion of your city unless you say no real loud, in which case, okay, then no invasion. I'll go invade somewhere else, maybe. And yes, I know that they are now promising a massive assault on their political enemies. Right? They're going to use the whole government to annihilate the whole political left in America. I know that's what they are saying now. Their ambitions are as grand as they are predictable and unsurprising. It is textbook stuff. But never forget for a second that they are also just terrible at everything they try to do, which is why pushing back against them almost always works.
Calling your gunboat saber-rattling a Department of War moment and then punting when the city says no is like shouting, "I'll be there in 10," and your Uber rating drops to 1 star for ghosting. If you arrest Hyundai engineers on camera and then beg foreign firms to bring their people of expertise, you're not projecting strength, you're running a kidnapping and training program, which, by the way, is not a thing. Trying to fire Lisa Cook into submission while your own side's done similar mortgage gymnastics is like calling traveling while your pivot foot is on rollerblades. Referees and reporters tend to notice. Boasting about jobs while revisions slam the brakes is the economic version of photoshopping a beach body onto last year's report card. The ocean is undefeated, so are BLS tables. Here's the quiet headline. Institutions bend toward accountability when people push. Grand juries, local officials, allied governments, even federal statisticians, when they hold the line, the Strongman Act looks like what it is, an act. So, yes, take the threats seriously, but don't mythologize the competence. The record shows a government that overreaches by press release and backpedals under scrutiny. Our job is to supply the scrutiny. If you made it this far, you're my kind of viewer. Hit like so this analysis beats the outrage algorithm. Subscribe for the next deep dive and share this with one friend who still thinks it's all vibes. Then sound off. Which of these 5 storylines deserves a full documentary-length tear down next? I'll pick the winner. And yes, I'll bring even more receipts.
And remember, if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button.